You have arrived. You found the code. You mastered your biology. You built your empire. You drive the machines that once existed only in your dreams. You live in the entryway at the world carves a mansion. You have achieved what 99% of the population deserves, the end game. And then,
In the silence
of your achievement, a new and terrifying enemy appears. Boredom. Not the boredom of having nothing to do, but the boredom of the peak. The realization no longer gives you a dopamine hit it once did. A first Ferrari was a miracle. The fifth is just a car. The first million was a battle. The hundreds is just a statistic. The average mind hits this point and starts to decay. They fall into hedonism. They look for cheaper thrills. Or they lose their edge and watch their empire crumble. They thought the goal was the destination. The architect of fate knows that there is no destination. There is only the expansion. We have entered the post-materialist phase. This is the stage where you realize that you didn't earn the money to have things. You earned the money
to transcend
to niche things. Why must you keep earning? Why must you push for the billions when you already have the high life? Because now you aren't playing
for yourself.
You are playing for the infrastructure a human freedom.
The second act
is not annihilation.
It is
architecting the future. Let's talk about the true power of excessive wealth. In the first 20 episodes, we talked about the sovereignty of the no. But the second act, the no becomes glue. Most people are still negotiators with AI. They're rich, but they still have to play the game with the banks, the government, institutions. They are high-level servants. The post-materialist seeks wealth to be incorruptible and insatiable. When you have $1 billion in loans, you just say no to buy both. You say no to an entire economic paralysis. You gave the power to create your own economic ecosystem. You can find the technologies that the Matrix wants to suppress. You can buy the land that the machine wants to exploit and turn it into a sanctuary for the earth. Wealth is the escape lie from the gravity of the crime. The non-materialist demand the luxury car and the estate as patrons of the reality. When you are in the Sarai, you are in a bubble of engineering perfection. When you are in the mansion, you are in a bubble of architectural silence. These bubbles protect your mind from the low-frequency static of the world, so you can focus on the second act. We don't buy the high life to show the world who we are. We buy it to hide from the world while we decide what the world will become. Your wealth is no longer a bank account. It is a war chest for the fourth. One of the greatest dangers of the high life is that it can make you soft. The make-use wants you to get rich and get comfortable. Wants you to eat your poo, drink the wine, and start being a threat to the status quo. It wants to turn the warrior into a consumer. The architect practices voluntary hardship in the life of luxury. Just because you can afford to off this bed doesn't mean you should always sleep in it. Just because you have a chef doesn't mean you shouldn't know the hunger of a fast. Just because you have the V12 engine doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to run 10 miles in the mud. The spirit must remain sage. even when the environment is sophisticated. We earned the millions to build the high-standard gym, the biohacking lab, and the intern dojo. We use our wealth to create the own training ground. We buy the luxury to relax. We buy to optimize. A Ferrari is a tool to bring your focus at 2 miles per hour. The SD is a tool to train your stronger body. The wealth is a tool to train your heart body or mold the lies. The moment you become materialist, the moment you need the car to feel powerful, you have lost the game. The architect uses the car as a weapon, not a crutch. Keep the wolf alive in Pentos. Use your edge, lose the empire. In the second act, we move from generational wealth to generational sovereignty. Most wealthy families in America fail by the third generation. Why? Because they gave their children cash without giving them the code. They gave them the fruit, but let the root rot. The post-materialist architect builds a family constitution. This is not a legal document. It is a spiritual blueprint. It defines the standards that the bloodline must never drawn. It establishes the philosophy of the high life as a responsibility, not a right. We get rich to buy the time for conquer architecture. We want to wealth so we can afford to take our children out of the matrix educational system and put them into a sovereign apprenticeship. We want them to grow up seeing that the Ferrari is not a status symbol, but a lesson in engineering discipline. We want them to see the mansion not as a home, but as a lesson in stewardship. We buy the luxury to act as pedagogical anchors. Look at this watch, Monge. As made of 300 parts working in perfect harmony. If one gear fails, the whole system dies. Your life is the same. Your habits are the gears. Excellence is the harmony. We are not raising rich kids. We are raising heirs of the flame. We are using the material world to teach the interior laws of the universe. Wealth is the whole in which the next generation of kings and queens is forged. As you move deeper into the post-materialist phase, your impact becomes invisible. The average person wants a famous. They want their name on the building. They want the likes and greed. This is ego impact, as shallow and temporary. The architect seeks infrastructure impact. We earn the billions to fund the things that Mumbai sees, but everyone comes on. We found the open source protocols for freedom. We fund the regenerative to agriculture that heals the soul. We fund the independent me that protects the truth. We buy the high life to have the enemy to work in the shadows. The most powerful people in the world are not on the cover of magazines. They are the ones who own the magazines. They're the ones who own the land under the Odins. They're the ones who write the rules of the game. Real power is being armed and present, but untraceable. We get rich to buy the right to be disconnected from the system, while we are connected to the source. The non-materialist seeks wealth because impact requires capital. If human to change requires a nation, you don't need good intentions. You need strategic liquidity. You need to be able to move $100 million in 24 hours to save a piece of truth or person value. Money is the ammunition of your vision, and in the second act, the war is for the soul of humanity. Finally, we come to the law of the horizon. The average person thinks about day. The hustler thinks about its month. And so on thinks about the next day. The post-materials architect thinks about the next century. Why do we buy the timeless assets? Why do we buy the land, the gold, and the masterpieces of art and engineering? because we are custodians of the eternal. We recognize that we are only here for a brief moment. Our job is to take the chaos of our time and turn into the order of the future. Wealth is the preserve of excellence. We earn the money to ensure that the high standards we have built don't die with us. We build the endowments, the trusts, and the foundations that will protect our lives for the next 200 years. When you hunt in your sanctuary, you aren't just looking at your garden. You are looking at the horizon of the future. You are asking, how will my actions today echo in the lives of people I will never meet? This is the ultimate non-materialist flex. Using temper my by and through infos. You have moved from wing to becoming a constant. The world change, governs evolve, trends advise. But the infrastructure of freedom you have built will be made. The standard of excellence you have set will continue to inspire. You are the architect. You are the vanguard. You are the post-materialist. The first act is of building the empire. The second act is about becoming the foundation of the world. Go out there, earn the billions, buy the freedom, protect the truth, and never ever forget, the money is just the ink. You are the author. Stay rich, stay sovereign, stay infant. The second act has just begun. Let us address the final frontier of the second act, the battle for your consciousness. We are entering an era where human biology and human thought are being hacked at a scale never seen before. Between artificial intelligence, neural interfaces, and the total automation of reality, the athlete person of becoming a biological puppet. Their desires are programmed, their pains are manufactured, and their attention is harvested by machines that are smarter than their own ancestors. Wealth is the only way to buy back the architecture of your own soul. The non-materialist seeks the billions to fund the resistance of the human spirit. We get rich to create a normal sanctuary. Why must you drive the high-performance car with the manual mechanical feel? Why must you live in a house built of stone and wood, far from the 5G noise of the city? It is not about nostalgia. It is about analog sovereignty. The V12 engine is an analog anchor. It requires your full presence, your physical coordination, and your respect for the laws of physics. It is an experience that cannot be digitized or automated. In those moments, you are not a data point. You are a human being in the ret cointat usuale. We buy the high life to create an unhappable environment. When you live in a multi-million-dollar state, you can afford to turn off the smart world. You can afford the luxury of inconvenience. You can have a library of physical books that can't be remote edited. You can have conversations in a room that is shielded from the digital ears of the matrix. You are buying the right to think a thought that wasn't put there by aura. This is the ultimate non-materialist flex. Using massive cable to remain primitive and pauvre. The average person is being domesticated by convenience. They're losing their intuition, their grit, and their ability to focus. They are becoming soft parts of a hard machine. The architect uses wealth to reverse the domestication. We get rich to fund the human upskilling. We want the private tutors who teach our children Socratic logic and classical philosophy. We want the martial arts masters, the survival experts, and the deep meditation retreats. We are using the money to protect the biology. In the second act, you realize that the most valuable thing you own is not your bank account. It is your original thought. We earn the millions to build a fortress of cognitive liberty. We want to be the ones who are off the grid spiritually while being on the grid financially. We are the unhackable sovereigns who use the tools of the future to protect the wisdom of the past. If you don't have the money to protect your attention will be stolen. If you don't have the money to protect your data will be weaponized against you. If you don't have the money to buy your own reality, you will be forced to live in a simulation written by people who don't know your name.
Stay rich.